Hello everyone. So obviously I've gone out and purchased myself a nice little 407 estate. One of the big problems with the 407s, in probably everyone's opinion who's had one, is the electronics can be a bit crap. And so one of the issues, as we saw at the 407 introduction, well, for Drax, its boot doesn't open. This is the boot actuator. What I'm going to do, I'm going to strip it down, but I'm also going to do another video to actually show you on how to get out, or get into the boot if it's locked shut, because you've got to be a bit flexible and I'm not. So anyway, to strip this down, it's quite straightforward. Once you've got this out, there's two Torx 10. So what we'll do is we'll just undo these. So that comes out quite easily. Do this one. Then what we can then do is we can lift off the top. Now what I would suggest is do this on the flat plane, because if not you'll see that thing's going kind of a bit forward. So in the video I'll show you on how to get into this, but essentially once your boot is locked, this is what's holding the boot down, and what you're doing is essentially pulling this across to release the boot. So that'll be in the next video, so we'll get that done shortly. So what I'll do is simulate that's done, and then what happens, if I just hold this steady here, is the motor runs, pulls this back, and off we go. Yeah, it releases. Now for me, what you want to tend to do is just make sure that when we pull this out, it can be a bit fiddly, but you pull it out, this will drop out, and you'll be thinking, how the hell does that fit? And I'll show you on how to rebuild this in a second. But what I want to do is take that off. You want to make sure that none of these parts are broken. I would hazard a guess that as if you smiled nicely at someone with a 3D printer, you could probably get these parts redone, no problem at all. That spring pops off, and then you got a, I can't remember what the word is, well basically like a thread that goes there. You want to also want to check for the splines. These are all nice and dandy. Now if we look down here, you've got the motor and you've got the three connections, but also if you don't know where this is going to come out, just there's a little green thing. That's essentially the switch that tells whether the boot is open or closed. So if I just do that, you can see that it's been pressed up by the cam here. Then if I press that back, you should have moved it back slightly, so it's not being pressed. So that's the full mechanism of that. So for me, all I will do is, I've kind of already done it anyway, but you give this a nice clean down, make sure that all this is working freely. You don't want any stiffness at all. But that operates nicely, nice little clunk, positive. And that's that. The only other thing is this, and as referenced it before in the start, is French Electrics. Now what you can see here, it's all nice and clean, there's nothing to be overly worried about. Don't go and try and take the motor out, it's absolutely pointless, because it'll be just more pain to actually get it in. So just making sure that that's all fine there. Then all you need to do for the next part is to get a bit of fine sandpaper, and just, if you can, just give it a bit of a squeeze and a bit of a wiggle, and to clean up the contactors. So essentially what we want to do, give that bit of blowout, we want to make sure that those are all nicely done. So then to put this back together, what I want to do is put your spring back on the end. It doesn't actually matter which way this goes on, but I think it's the bigger, fatter part, he says, typically. The next part is the bit of it that I find tricky. So what you want to do is hold this through here like so. Is it, oops, wrong way around. So you want to hold it in there like so. Press in. Give it a bit of a turn. And what you want to do is, oops, wrong way around. Hoop it over the edge of the lever. I'm just trying to keep a bit of pressure on this. Oops. So hook it over the lever, and then hopefully all being well, when you drop it down, give it a bit of a turn, it should then sit in there. And then what will happen is once this moves back, you can see it'll operate, got this wrong way around, as the motor turns, there you go, the boot opens. Then all that's needed is pop the top back on, 2 screws, so trying to get them screwed in. There we go. That's one. Typical. That's 2. And that's it. All reassembled. Not that difficult. Right, let's go and put it back in. Right, so what I need to do now is take your back in. So that works. Whacking those. don't know where they are. Need to get a few more of these. But... hopefully this will work. Job done. Job done.